Hello everyone, welcome to Students Point. This is 13th of May and today we have to see 8 selected questions. Each question has the highest probability of being asked in any government examinations. And in these questions today we have to know about Atal Pension Scheme, we have to know about UV rays, and then we have to discuss some important provisions of the articles and why those were in news, some recent discoveries and many more. So be focused and be attentive till the end. First you have to see question for the day. You have to answer this question in the comment section. The question is Nakula Pass is located in which state? These are the options. Read the options carefully and answer this question in the comment section. To get PDF of all these videos, you have to follow me on Telegram by writing Students Point 2020 without space. Just write Students Point 2020 in small letters. You will get all the PDFs in the Telegram channel. So let's begin. The first question, Bharosa, which was in news recently, is a this Bharosa is a helpline. It has been launched recently by Union Minister of HRD, that is Human Resource Development, and it is a Central University of Odisha's helpline. This will help students who are distressed in the wake of COVID-19, and the helpline for this is 08046801010. I repeat the number for you once again, 8046801010. Next question now, which has developed COVID Kavach ELISA? This question is very important. Which agency has developed COVID Kavach ELISA? So it has been developed by National Institute of Virology. It is an institute which is based in Pune, and this has developed this kit. This test kit will help detect antibodies in blood samples that the body develops in response to infections by SARS-CoV-2 novel coronavirus. See, whenever an outer body or an unknown substance, be it virus or bacteria, enters into our human body, then human body in reaction generates antibodies to fight against those foreign elements. So as such, those antibodies become a proof for infection or entering of any foreign substances. So this ELISA test will help to detect the generation of those antibodies, and it will provide a proof that yes, this body was infected earlier in the past, or it is infected at present with this SARS-CoV-2 novel coronavirus. This SARS-CoV-2 is actually the virus which causes COVID-19 disease. And this ELISA test can map even the past infections, even in asymptomatic cases. See, there are 3 types of cases in COVID-19. The first one is symptomatic, another one is pre-symptomatic, and the third one is asymptomatic. What is the difference between these 3? See, symptomatic patients are those patients which have shown the symptoms of COVID-19. The symptoms include respiratory issues and other issues which are related to COVID-19 disease. Now the second one case is pre-symptomatic. Pre-symptomatic include those patients which are at earlier stage of showing some symptoms. Means they are in the incubation period of virus. This means that after some time or after some days, at max 14 days, they will start showing symptoms of COVID-19 disease. But there are third categories of patients as well. They include asymptomatic cases. These are the patients whose immune system is very strong and they will not show any signs of or any symptoms of COVID-19 disease at all. So these kind of patients are very dangerous, as these asymptomatic patients are themselves unaware of their positive status of COVID-19 disease. That is why this test has been developed, and this test will help to detect even the presence of virus in such asymptomatic patients as well. While there is a test called RT-PCR test. In RT-PCR test, it is unable to detect presence of virus in asymptomatic cases, or even RT-PCR test is not able to detect those persons who have been infected with COVID-19 in the past, but now they are not infected or they are treated and they are well off. So it is not able to detect presence of virus in those patients who have recovered from COVID-19 disease. So that is not a good sign for RT-PCR, as several patients have shown symptoms of COVID-19 disease again even if they are treated. So RT-PCR test is costly as well as it is not able to detect cases in the past. And generally ELISA test is used and is famous for HIV infections tests. So remember that ELISA test, which was earlier used to detect HIV infections, can now be used in detection of COVID-19 as well. Next question now. Agriculture as a subject is mentioned in, so this agriculture subject is mentioned in state list of the constitution. See, all the subjects including agriculture, education, water management and other important subjects are divided into three lists. They include union list, state list and concurrent list. So this agriculture is listed in state list. And what are these three lists? See, union list are those lists which includes subjects on which only union government, that is parliament, can pass law, while state list include those subjects on which only state legislature of a state can pass a law, while concurrent list are those lists which include subjects wherein both union government as well as state government can pass a law. But whenever there is dispute over a subject or over a law passed by both union government or state government over a subject which is included in concurrent list, then the union law will prevail. I hope you understand it. Those who are not getting it, I will explain it in Hindi. अगर कोई सब्जेक्ट है जो कि कॉन्करेंट लिस्ट में मेंशन्ड है और उस लिस्ट पे दोनों यानी कि यूनियन यानी कि केंद्र सरकार ने भी और स्टेट सरकार ने भी कोई लॉ पास किया है और यूनियन लॉ और स्टेट लॉ में कोई डिस्प्यूट हो जाता है कि कौन सा लॉ यहाँ पे अप्लाई किया जाए, तो इन दैट केस इन सच मैटर ऑफ डिस्प्यूट्स यूनियन लॉ, दैट इज लॉ पास्ड बाय द यूनियन गवर्नमेंट और द पार्लियामेंट ऑफ इंडिया, विल प्रिवेल ओवर all state laws. I hope you understand it now. Why this agriculture subject was in news? Because recently Gujarat state government has cleared Gujarat Agriculture Produce Market Amendment Ordinance 2020. Now what is ordinance? See, ordinance are those laws or those rules which are issued by the executive and it is not passed by the legislature at all. See, laws are passed by the legislative body while ordinance are issued by executive body, and ordinance is actually issued by governor on behalf of the cabinet, be it the state cabinet or the union cabinet, and it has ended the monopoly of state run agriculture produce market committees, in short called as APMCs. So this ordinance 2020 will end the monopoly of APMCs. Now what are APMCs and what does APMC does? See, agriculture produce market committees earlier were responsible for sale of produces of farmers. So farmers first has to go to these committees which is called as APMCs, and these APMCs then sell their produces including agriculture goods or horticulture goods to different buyers. So these farmers has to go through a mediator which reduces their profit. So now Gujarat government has decided that they will end the monopoly of APMCs or these committees and allow the private entities as well to participate in the selling of produces of farmers so that the benefits of farmers may be increased. So what are APMCs or these committees? These are a statutory market committee constituted by state government themselves in respect of trade in certain notified agriculture or horticulture and even livestock products under the Agriculture Produce Market Committee Act. So these APMCs are constituted by the state government themselves to trade in different produces including agriculture, horticulture and livestock products. But now many state government has decided to remove the monopoly of APMCs to increase the benefits of farmers. Next question now. Consider the following statements about state of World's Nursing Report. See, State of World's Nursing Report is first such report released by World Health Organization. This statement is correct and it has been developed by WHO in partnership with International Council of Nurses and Global Nursing Now campaign. This statement is also correct. Remember the institutions: WHO in partnership with International Council of Nurses and Global Nursing Now campaign. So since here both of the statements are correct, so C is the right answer. Let's see some key points related to this report. See, nursing is the largest occupational group in the health sector as per this report, and this nursing sector accounts for approximately 59% of the total health professions. The global shortage of nurses is estimated at 5.9 million nurses in 2018. You may remember it by approximately 6 million nurses in 2018. And numerically, countries having the largest shortage of nurses in 2018 included Bangladesh, India, Indonesia, Nigeria, and Pakistan. I repeat, Bangladesh, India, Indonesia, Nigeria, and Pakistan. So these are the countries which have the largest shortage of nurses as per the year of 2018. And it is to be noted that year 2020 has been designated by World Health Organization as the year of nurse and midwife in honor or to honor the 200th birth anniversary of Florence Nightingale. She was born in the year of 1820 and she was famous social worker and a nurse, Florence Nightingale. Next question now about Gandhi Peace Prize. But before that, I would say that those who have not taken the test yet, which we have organized on this channel on Monday, must take that test. We have taken questions from 4th of May till 10th of May in that test. Many of you, I understand your fear, many of you might be fearful of taking such tests, but you have to go through and pass through those such fears, because ultimately in examinations you have to compete with very serious aspirants. So you can't be fearful and just remain sit and watch these daily videos. After watching these videos, you have to check yourself that whether you are getting much or not. So take that test, analyze yourself, work on your weaknesses, and then ultimately emerge as a victor in your examinations. So I will say everyone to go and take that test. I have created a separate playlist for weekly test. I will add all the tests on that playlist. Everyone should take that test. So let's see the question now. Gandhi Peace Prize was instituted during the commemoration of blank birth anniversary of Gandhiji. So this Gandhi Peace Prize was instituted to commemorate the 125th birth anniversary of Mahatma Gandhi. It was instituted by Government of India in the year of 1995. Remember the year, very important, 1995, and it was the 125th birth anniversary of Mahatma Gandhi, as Gandhiji was born in the year of 1869. And this awarded is given to those who are involved in social, economic, and political transformation through non-violence. This award can be given to individuals as well as to associations, institutions, or organizations. And this Gandhi Peace Award is given annually, and it is not given posthumously. What does this mean? This means that if a person died, he or she is not eligible to get that award. And this award can be divided between two persons and institutions. This award includes prize of rupees 1 crore. This award was recently in news because Ministry of Culture has extended the nomination period for Gandhi Peace Prize from 30th April to 15th of June 2020 due to the lockdown in the wake of COVID-19 pandemic. Next question is National Technology Day is celebrated on, this was the previous day question, so it is being celebrated on May 11th to remember the Pokhran test of India, which made India a nuclear state. The next question now, consider the following statements about Notes Clean. See, Hyderabad based research center Imarat has developed this automated ultraviolet C currency sanitizing device. This statement is correct. It has been developed by Research Center Imarat, which is based in or located in Hyderabad, and it is based on ultraviolet ray C, and it will sanitize currency. So what is UVC? See, there are three types of ultraviolet rays: UVA, UVB, and then ultraviolet ray C. So out of these three types of ultraviolet rays, UVC is the most dangerous. UVC is the most dangerous, and the wavelength, and these three categories are based on wavelength of light. So UVC has the smallest wavelength, while UVB has the medium wavelength, while UVA has the largest wavelength. And it picks the nodes, that is currency nodes, one by one and makes them pass through a series of UVC lamps for complete disinfection. So this is also correct, as you must have known that currencies are one of the strongest medium for the transmission of COVID-19 disease. So here, since both of these statements are correct, so C is the right answer. And as I told, UVCs are most harmful and most dangerous, but one thing to take relief is that these are completely absorbed by Earth's atmosphere and does not reach the Earth's surface. Otherwise, this light would have made life very difficult on Earth. And this UVC refers to ultraviolet light with wavelength ranging between 200 to 280 nanometers. As I told, UV rays are divided into three parts based on different wavelengths. So UVC rays are the smallest and they range between 200 to 280 nanometers. And these UVCs are used for disinfecting water, sterilizing surfaces, destroy the harmful microorganisms in food products and in air. And this very same organization, which is based in Hyderabad, has also developed DRUVS, which is Defense Research Ultraviolet Sanitizer. This will be helpful in sanitizing mobile phones, iPads, laptops, currency notes, check leaves, challans, passbooks, paper, envelopes, and many other devices. Next question now. Consider the following statements about Atal Pension Yojana. C. It provides a minimum guaranteed pensions ranging from rupees 1000 to rupees 5000 on attaining the age of 60 years. This statement is correct. Remember, the minimum pension provided under this Atal Pension Yojana is rupees 1000 to rupees 5000, and any citizens aged between 18 to 40 years can join this scheme. This statement is also correct. See what happens in it. Those who are below the age of 18 cannot join it, and those who are above the age of 40 can also not join this Atal Pension scheme. Only those ranging between this age group can join it, but those who have joined at early age will have to pay low subscription rate to this scheme, while those who have joined at the later age will have to pay higher subscription, because it is quite obvious that suppose if a person have joined at the age of 20, will have to pay subscription rate or subscription amount till the age of 60. So he or she will have to pay subscription amount for 40 years. So he will have to pay lesser amount, and those, let's say, who have joined this scheme at the age of 35 will have to pay till the age of 60. So again here he have to pay only for year 15 years. So automatically he have to pay more subscription rate to get this much amount of pensions after retirement or after the age of 60 years. So here C is the right answer again. And the amount of pension is guaranteed for lifetime, means after the age of 60 years he or she is eligible to get the pension throughout the life or till the time he or she survives. In case of death of that person, a spouse will be eligible to get that pension. And in the event of death of both the subscriber as well as the spouse, that is either husband or wife, the entire pension corpus is paid to the nominee. तो इस स्कीम में एक नॉमिनी देना होगा. In case of death of both subscribers as well as his wife or husband or her husband, nominee will be eligible to get the subscription amount and the pension. And the scheme is administered by Pension Fund Regulatory and Development Authority, and this PFRDA is a statutory body which works under Ministry of Finance. This scheme was launched on 9th May 2015. Remember the year, very important, 9th May 2015. And this scheme has completed 5 years of implementation, and that is why it was in news. And as of now, it has 2.2 crore subscribers. Next question now. Freedom to carry on any trade business over internet enjoys constitutional protection under which article of the Constitution? So, Article 19 provides us protection to do any trade, business, occupation over internet. So, here C is the right answer. Precisely, this is protected under Article 19, Clause 1, Subclause Z, and this was provided by Supreme Court in Anuradha Bhasin versus Union of India case 2020. In this case, Supreme Court held that right to do any profession, occupation over internet is provided under this article. And Supreme Court also ruled that though the freedom is guaranteed under this article, but this freedom is not absolute and certain restrictions can be imposed on this right. And it was in news because recently Supreme Court has refused to restore 4G services in Jammu and Kashmir. Why so? Earlier, there was a body called Foundation for Media Professionals has filed a plea to restore high-speed internet in Jammu and Kashmir in the view of COVID-19 situations, because doctors might need high internet to treat a patient and to communicate with high professionals and high doctors in other parts of the country. But Supreme Court has said that there should be a balance between human rights and national security. So I hope you find the video useful. Don't forget to share this video to your friends, like the video if you find it useful, and subscribe to the channel. Answer the question in the comment section. Wait for the upcoming video. Until then, stay at your home, stay safe. Thanks a lot.